vlog. Again, we have a group of people who are doing the countdown to summer sizzle. And so what I want to talk today about is tools, resources, things that can help you keep track of your progress on your measurable goals. So we have a food intake log, we have an exercise accountability log that we're keeping, and of course we're going to want to keep track of our goals. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is sparkpeople.com. Coolest thing ever. I signed up yesterday. I think there might be a feature where you can share your results, and I'll look into that today. However, it is free. It's at sparkpeople.com. You can enter what you eat, food log, and it will track your protein, your fat grams, your calories, and anything else you want to keep track of, like fiber, which is important to weight loss. Or maybe you're keeping up with sodium intake, which for me in the very beginning was a big one. I didn't realize that a lot of diet foods carried a lot of sodium, and you'd be surprised at what you're doing to yourself by the diet alternative. Sometimes it comes out a little bit better to just cook it yourself, even though it's less, obviously less easy to do. It's a little more convenient in terms of time, inconvenient in terms of time. Now, Spark People I can talk about a little bit later on. As far as how to do it, I'll try to walk you through it a little later. However, the second thing you want to be able to do is measure your body and keep track of your goals. The first, most obvious way to measure your body is to step on a scale and take your weight. The key to weight, measuring your weight, is to make sure that you use the same scale every time and you're at around the same time every time. If you like to, you can go with all the little tricks and gizmos, you know, take your shoes off, take all your clothes off, make sure that you're not wet, you know, anything that could add any weight to you, whatever. I like to go in the morning because I tend to be a little bit lighter in the morning than I am at night. I'm usually about a pound heavier or a couple of ounces heavier at night. So the second option is to make sure you keep up with your measurements. For me, a long time went by and I was not dropping any weight, but my measurements were changing because I was introducing weights, strength training, resistance training, and it was just changing the composition of my body along with the cardio, so the weight stayed the same but the measurements changed. So we want to talk about that. And the second tool, aside from Spark People, which is going to help you log what you do and what you eat, is your progress. And I'm going to suggest that you use the Beachbody tool at my website because it gives you progress and it tells you how you're progressing in terms of like each little category and the overall percentage. Nobody can see it when they go on your website. Make sure you know that. Okay, so here, let's measure. First thing they're going to ask you for, is your waist. Waist, huh? Okay, here we go. Make sure you measure the same place every time. I like to go right about an inch above my belly button. It used to be, but now it is at my belly button because that's where my natural waist is. Okay, what you want to do is you want to look at your body, check out where it goes in. Okay, above the hips, right about the belly button. Remember, my belly button did move when I lost weight. I know that's weird, but it did. Okay, and so we're going to go through. We're going to take a peek. Nice, always friendly. Right now that says 31. Let's see, hope that that gets down a little bit lower. 31. Now we want to go with the hips. Find your saddlebags, if you have any. Your hips are going to be at the widest part of the hip. Rumpus cadumpus, down low. Right here, I am looking at 40 1/4. Not my friend, but it is what it is. Chest is going to be at the highest point of your chest. You know what? If the girls aren't as perky as they used to be, I'm going to go ahead and suggest that you measure with a bra on. Okay, right there at the tippity tip. Okay, there you go. 37 action going on there, and my goodness, it's all gone away. Right arm and left arm. You want to go ahead and measure without flexing. This one's always the funniest for me, so I use my chin here. I try to go for the granny flap. That's 11 on me. Make sure you're fair and you're including the granny flap, not flexing past it. Again, same place, granny flap, and you want to swing it around. This one is also 11. Usually they're a little bit different, but today we're 11 on both sides. Right thigh, left thigh. Now, when you're determining where to measure on your thigh, again, you got to be consistent every time or else you're going to be completely shocked. So, you want to be somewhere in this area between your hip and about the middle to measure your thigh. It just so happens I got a little kissy action. I don't know if anybody else has that, but I got the kissy thigh action. So I like to measure at the highest point, at the largest point of the kissy thighs. That way I know I'm always in about the same place. So, I go to the kissy thigh. Hello, kissy thigh. And here we are, 24 and a half. 24 and a half? Yeah, 24 and a half. Wow, we got a little work to do there. Okay? 24 and a half is my left. And then you're going to do the same thing for your right. Do not freak out if they're slightly different. I tend to be a little bit smaller on one side than the other. Yeah, see, this one's 24 and 3/4, so the left was smaller. Okay, so you've got your measurements. You're going to use your tools then to enter what you have. And then next week, while your weight might not drop, your measurements will. Or while your measurements might not change that much, your weight will. And you want to have as many factors and as many measures of success available to you as you can. The other thing that I'm going to encourage you to do is to check out your BMI. You can just Google the letters BMI, and it's body mass index. And basically, it tells you weight versus height and what that number is. It's important because you can say, I'm 135. That's not fat. Well, how tall are you? Are you 4'9" and 135? Maybe you could have a little bit to lose. At the same time, if you are 170 but you're 5'10", maybe that doesn't look that bad. Or if you're 6 foot, it might not look that bad as well. And also, you have to consider your density, what it looks like in your measurements. For me, I weigh a lot more than most people think that I do. Given the way I look and given my measurements, I'm just a very dense person. It has to do with genetics. So I don't really focus so much on weight as I do on measurement. That's always been the money for me. And also body fat. Right now my body fat is out of control, and I know that that's something that I have to do better about. So, until we get in together next week or whatever, for now, remember this Friday we're going to be doing our first measurements, and this is how we're going to do it. Until next, stay fit and beautiful.